The Pittsburgh Steelers have just made an addition to their offensive line in free agency. They've re-signed a player to their roster. But first, before I get more to who that player is, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers have re-signed offensive lineman Max Scharping to a 1-year contract. And this is now your introduction to him and what he's all about. So, offensive lineman Max Scharping, he was a backup lineman who signed midway through the team's 2024 season, and his addition was reflected on the league's official transaction sheet on Tuesday. The Pittsburgh Steelers' Scharping's 2024 campaign was largely uneventful. He signed in October off the Washington Commanders practice squad when injuries continued to pile up for the Steelers' offensive line. When Troy Fautanu got injured, and then Isaac Seumalo was also injured, and you also look at the other players got injured as well. So Scharping appeared in just 2 games. All 7 of his offensive snaps came in a blowout loss to the Kansas City Chiefs as Pittsburgh began pulling veteran starters. He also logged a special team snap in Week 8 win over the New York Giants. So his contract will be a veteran minimum deal with the Steelers. So this is a 1-year contract on a vet min. He is an NFL veteran who's entering his 7th season, and Max Scharping was drafted by the Houston Texans in the 2nd round of the 2019 NFL Draft. His career never panned out to meet expectations as a 2nd round draft pick. He started 33 games in 3 years with the Houston Texans, but failed to play out his rookie deal. He was waived during the 2022 offseason during the cutdowns. Since then, he's bounced around rosters, and Scharping spent time with the Cincinnati Bengals, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Washington Commanders, before landing in Pittsburgh last season. He has experience and versatility among the offensive line, and that's his calling card. He can play any 3 interior offensive line positions: left guard, center, right guard. He can play any of those. And Scharping, he is the 2nd veteran offensive lineman to re-sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason. When you look at Kelvin Anderson at offensive tackle, he re-signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. So the Pittsburgh Steelers lost several others in free agency, like offensive tackle Dan Moore Jr., who cashed in with the Tennessee Titans on a big contract. Offensive guard James Daniels left, who was a veteran as well, inking a 3-year deal with Miami. You look at offensive guard and center Nate Herbig, he signed a deal with the Washington Commanders. So the Pittsburgh Steelers lost many veterans and many who have experience and time on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they probably wanted to make sure they could at least sign some veterans who were on their team from previous years, who know the system. So that's why they re-signed Scharping, and he also re-signed Kelvin Anderson as well this offseason. So the Pittsburgh Steelers' entirety of the offense line, it is weaker than it was a season ago in terms of all the depth and every single player we had, because we had some great backups who had to play as starters, but now the starters are gone, so now those backups who were playing as starting will be the starting position. For example, Brock Jones is left tackle now, Troy Fautanu is going to be right tackle, and then you look at kind of Mason McCormick, even though he was taking over for James Daniels, now he has to be the starter because James Daniels left. So those players who were the backups last season, who had to fill in for the starters who are missing time, they will be the full-time starters now. So the depth took a hit for the Pittsburgh Steelers on offense line, but they wanted to make sure they could at least bring back some veterans that they had on their roster from last season, and the sign of Max Scharping is just that. He will join Ryan McCollum and Spencer Anderson as the team's top depth along the interior offensive line, and depth at tackle consists of Kelvin Anderson and Dylan Cook. Spencer Anderson can also play right tackle as well. So he spent most of the 2024 season at guard, but he can't play tackle, and that's what he was drafted as. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's your introduction to Max Scharping, where he's been in his career, and who he will be this season for the upcoming Pittsburgh Steelers team. So now just to review the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line in general, let me just take a minute. Like I said, Brock Jones left tackle. You look at left guard, it might be Isaac Seumalo, it may be Mason McCormick. It depends on who the Pittsburgh Steelers want at left guard and right guard, but let's just say Isaac Seumalo sticks at left guard. And then you look at center, and you have Zach Frazier, and right guard, you have Mason McCormick, and right tackle, you have Troy Fautanu. That offense line is basically what we all wanted the Pittsburgh Steelers to have last season at the offense line position. That's the exact same lineup that we wanted, except for maybe right guard being James Daniels instead of Mason McCormick to start the season. We all wanted to give Brock Jones a chance at left tackle. We all wanted the rookie first round pick in Troy Fautanu at right tackle to play his position, and then we wanted the rookie as well, Zach Frazier, to be the starter as well. So we finally get what we want on the offensive line, and it looks like we're going to have to start building chemistry because this is a young offensive line. The only veteran really in that starting lineup is Isaac Seumalo, but at least we have some veterans as the backups that the younger players can learn from in the depth pieces. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they go out and add to the offensive line, and this is going to be an interesting season. The Pittsburgh Steelers basically have a redone offensive line in terms of moving pieces around. They have a new running back that they're probably going to add in the draft alongside Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell, who signed in free agency. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have a lot of moving pieces on this offense, and it's going to be interesting to see how this offensive line holds up. The Steelers still don't have a true quarterback unless it is going to be Mason Rudolph, so this whole offense can look completely different next season with these players leaving and these new players being added in and moved around. So that's the end of this video, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on the signing of Max Scharping and just the Steelers offensive line in general. How do you feel about it? And did you want this move to happen? Do you think the Steelers should still add to this offensive line group in the draft or free agency? And who would you want? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Me personally, I don't think this signing is anything too special, but it's depth. And you can never get enough depth on the roster. Also, I really don't see them going out and adding anyone in the draft. Maybe in free agency, another veteran here and there, but we're going to have to wait and see. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis, reports. Every free agency signing, I've covered it. Their introduction to you is on the channel. Go ahead and check it out. And I'm going to be doing the exact same thing with the draft, with highlights and analysis as well. So subscribe, turn notifications for this channel. And until next time, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.